Hi, thank you, and welcome to my channel. This message is for twin flames, and this is how to recognize whether or not you're caught up in a false twin flame relationship. A lot of the times, this is a question that gets asked a lot with people who are just starting out on this journey, or at the very least, they've been going back and forth for some time with a person, and they just kind of place that person in that position without really fully understanding and digesting the full premise of what this relationship should consist of. And it's really something that I've just kind of come to see in my experience, that everyone who actually has been able to form a union has actually been involved. This is just my personal research, but as far as I can tell, a lot of people have experienced the pre-twin dynamics. Now, whether that could have been in a long-term relationship or very short, brief encounter, either way, these people, generally you're karmically contracted with them in order for you to learn soul lessons that will actually enable you to be a better mate for your divine mate. And what happens is, a lot of the times we get caught up in these relationships, and we tend to add to where we tend to add emphasis where it doesn't necessarily belong. And I say that to kind of say that we tend to kind of amplify those relationships and glorify them without seeing them for what they really are in the moment that they are. And a lot of times those false twin flame relationships, they have a lot of red flags, a lot of just narcissistic dynamics, whether it's from you to that person or from that person to you. Generally, someone in the relationship will experience narcissistic tendencies where it becomes quite all about them, and how the reciprocation of the love that you have is disproportionate to what they've given you, or vice versa. These things tend to be a prevalent experience in a false twin flame relationship. A lot of the times they could go on for years, where the dynamics of a person, one running away, one chasing another, and things of that nature, and the breakup and the makeups are usually there for the cycles of that relationship to run its course, so that those people can actually learn the lessons that they need to learn from all of those ruptures that they've had. And a lot of the times those relationships, if you are able to look at that person and pinpoint why you're in love with them, chances are they're not your divine mate. Because what happens when you're in a twin flame dynamic, or you have love for whomever it is your divine counterpart, that love generally comes out of nowhere. You typically have that love stored within your eternal memory banks from past life situations that you've had with this person, as well as just an eternal love of unconditional love that comes from the divine source of all creation. And when you have unlocked that love, it tends to flow directly to that person who unlocked it. And technically, that person is your divine mate. Usually, the person who can unlock your heart chakra to fully heal and to fully open and to fully expand, that is the person that is your divine twin flame. And if you haven't really experienced the heart palpitations where you can actually feel the flutters, where your heart chakra is activated at its center, chances are you may not be a high vibrating twin, but there's a great chance that that person that you're with is not your divine mate. Because the thing is that true twin flames, they create a frequency between the two of them, and we all have outputs of frequency, whether it be higher vibration, or people who can max out at their highest vibration. It may not be as maximum as a guru, in India, so to speak, but their vibration is as high as it can go. So we have to kind of look at it that way as well. There's a scale, a sliding scale of energetic beings here, where some people are, vibrating a lot higher than others. So you can be a little bit more, if you are a very high vibrating person, you can be a little bit more sensitive to the attunements of the alchemy of binding the soul back together between you and your divine mate. So if your relationship is based on worldly views, I'm talking about the material aspects, the possessions, what businesses that you can build together, the things that you are trying to accomplish in the 3D realm. These things are for 3D karmic soul tie relationships, not necessarily the twin flame relationships. Those relationships are more rooted in the fifth dimensional spiritual aspect, whereas there is a lot of psychic activity between the twins where they can connect on the astral plane, as well as they're able to communicate through telepathy and things of that nature. When you activate these features, in the dynamic of your twin flame union, that you could very well be a higher vibrating twin where you have activated such gifts, because a lot of twins do have this phenomenal gift that they've been given, and a lot of the times they use it in order to maintain the bond, strengthen the bond, and bring forth the union. And it's very important that if you have a telepathic connection with your divine partner, that you maintain that connection and you show them love from wherever you can. It's very difficult to maintain a connection in the 3D with someone who hasn't physically allowed that. So you don't want to be a person that is constantly trying to reach out to your twin or your counterpart if that person is not physically ready to receive you at this time. It's just best to kind of send the love, send the light, and to be there in spirit and allow yourself to work on you, because there's just an aspect of yourself that still needs healing. If you're unable to face your twin, or if your twin is unable to face you, it is just something within yourself that you haven't yet faced. So don't look at it as, a negative aspect of yourself. I'm here to just kind of encourage everybody to stay faithful to the course of action that you need to take, which is living your life in your own divine righteousness and living it very happily, going towards your destiny, and not necessarily being burdened by the specifics of how that destiny is playing out, but allowing yourself to enjoy the journey. I want everybody to enjoy their road to whatever success that they choose to have in their life, whatever goals that they set in the meantime, in between time. And I know ultimately, if you're listening to this channel, if you're listening to my videos, a lot of the times you really, really desire your twin flame union. And I do understand where you are coming from. I understand the pain that's associated with having separation from someone you love deeply and dearly. But the thing is that you have to love yourself that much more, because that person is essentially you in another body. And if they're not physically able to be there to receive the love that you have for them, to them, and from you, from your soul that you share, then you should just kind of gently show it to them from where you are, and allow yourself to feel enough in the space that you are at this moment, and knowing that wherever your twin is in life, they are learning whatever they need to learn, and they are exactly where they need to be, so that one day when you guys both are ready and prepared for that special moment, it will play out exactly how it's supposed to, and not a minute sooner and not a minute later. But you have to allow yourself the space to fully heal and to fully process the experience, and to love it, and to be honest with yourself the entire way through. Don't be jaded by your desires so much so that you reject the healing that comes with the aspect of getting back to your soul. And that's what this love is all about. It's really all about being able to tap into the love that resides within you so that you can exude it at such a capacity that everyone benefits from it, not just you, not just the person that you choose to spend the rest of your life with, but all people that you can come in contact with. They'll be able to really gain a healing from the amount of love that you radiate. And between the two of you, you will be able to heal others just with your presence. And it's just these types of dynamics that happen when you are with a person that is actually your divine mate and not a false twin. So the false twins, they may come with the appearance of being someone who is a spiritual person, someone who can help you graduate in a level of your spirituality, but eventually one or the two will surpass the other, and they won't be able to keep up with each other because they're just both passing through each other's lives. And what's important is that when you recognize that you are in a false twin relationship, is that you allow yourself to learn the lessons that you need to learn from that person, and then you cut off the relationship before any new dharma is created between you and that person. And you have to see where you are in your soul's evolution and allow time to do its justice, and to break the contracts when they need to be broken. And when you feel the need to move on. Do not allow things to linger and fester, especially when you know for sure, because what you're doing is you're prohibiting your spiritual growth, as well as you're resisting all of the blessings and all of the manifestations of the things that are in alignment with your destiny to come to pass. And what I mean is that if you have certain things that your heart desires, but it won't actually manifest until you have made union with your twin, if you're tied up in relationships that are just karmic contracts and you continue to remain bound to them, your outward scenarios, everything that'll just kind of happen to you and with that person will just start to kind of crash around you. You'll start to have, just negative reactions with each other. You can't really get along, or, just things on the outside creep in, and it'll create just separation between the two of you. Just kind of like the Tower card in the tarot deck, it'll come crashing down. Spirit will actually attune you directly to where you're supposed to be by not allowing any and all things that you're trying to persevere and push forward on your own merit. And if you're trying to get that to go through, guess what? It won't happen if you are off course, if you've taken a detour by continuing to remain in relationships that you aren't supposed to be in. And if your destiny is to union with your divine mate, guess what? It doesn't really matter where you are at this moment. The course of your life will continue to push you and push you and push you and push you until you have rightfully made the choice to move into the direction where you need to go. And I really say free will with a grain of salt, because we do live in a free will state, but it's free will with kind of limitations. You really have to understand the laws of nature. We have to operate in those laws in order to be fully abundant and fully present within ourselves, and to know how to monopolize our time while we're here. But when you are dealing with people who aren't necessarily your divine counterparts, and you try to put them in places where they don't belong, which is, as your spouse, you create problems for yourself, because number one, if you are a divine masculine and you have a feminine person that is there and they're not your divine feminine aspect, they won't be able to see and foresee things for you the way that your divine feminine will be able to see, and will be able to kind of give you an insight and a hands-on guide to the kingdom that you guys are to share amongst each other together. And it's kind of coordinated that that person will be able to see things for you. That's just how it works, because your divine feminine will be able to have things and attributes that you don't have, that will actually assist and help you and navigate you in your world of being, as well as vice versa. You'll be able to divine masculine will be able to provide and give insight and teach and do things with the divine feminine counterpart that that person has never really experienced with other people before. So the dynamics of a real twin flame relationship is very amplified pre-twin flame relationship, because whatever you experience, the karmic pulls, the metaphysical ties, all the different aspects and dynamics of what would make you wake up to think that this person is your twin. If you look at it with multidimensional eyes and you allow yourself to see it for what it truly is, you can see what who that person really is, and you can allow yourself to not be jaded by what you want it to be, and you can really see it in its entirety. Now, there are ways that you can know for sure, and the best way to do is test your own soul, test your own spirit, ask the universe, and the universe will show you signs and synchronicities. But even if that isn't enough for you to move forward in progress and knowing that this is the person that's the one for you, you can always let go of your need to have that particular person that you're thinking of as the person who is your divine mate or your twin flame. And you just focus on you. Allow yourself to completely focus on the relationship aspect of what it is that you want in a partner, how you would like to feel in the relationship. Imagine those feelings and allow yourself to match that vibration. And whomever is your divine counterpart will make their way into your life when you are at the vibration to receive them. It's just as simple as that. But we can make it as hard or as easy as we would like it to be for ourselves, but it just depends on us and how we choose to look at it. Are you looking at life from a pessimistic perspective or an optimistic one, or at the very realistic one from your own perception? You can choose to do it however you want to do it, but whatever helps you cope, whatever helps you get through the day, and whatever allows you to just be at peace with your daily now moment, then that's what you should do. You should just allow yourself to be, so that you can radiate whatever it is you need to radiate in your vibration to attract to you the love of your life, the person who will be your vibratory match through and through. And I say all of this because a lot of times people just get caught up in relationships back and forth for years and years and years, thinking and believing that this person is their twin flame, when in fact they're just in a relationship where they have not been able to detach themselves enough to let go of the idea of that person not being their twin flame, to allow for someone else that resonates better, to make room for that person to come in and make an appearance and show them that, hey, there is more to the story than they think. And a lot of the times when you are stuck in the dynamic of that type of narcissistic relationship, you continue to go in a spiral of believing that this person has to be the right person for you because of all the logical reasons that you've given yourself to believe in them. But generally, when it's a real twin flame union, it's really an astonishing, astronomical connection where there is really nothing that can tell you otherwise. You'll feel it, you'll know it, but at the same time there'll be so many different types of signs and synchronicities that'll actually give you the concrete proof of it. The love that you will feel for this person will just kind of come out of nowhere and knock you upside down and off your feet. You won't necessarily know how to express that love right away to that person because it will feel awkward to the both of you, and you'll have to kind of let nature take its course and go with the flow of things and figure that part out and heal the dynamics between your union and make your union complete. But when you actually find your divine counterpart, it's usually a soul sparking experience that could create a fear, and that fear is usually what creates that runner chaser dynamic that people speak about a lot. And it's not because you've had a relationship where the relationship just didn't work out. These things, they usually happen because these are people that you needed to learn these soul lessons from. When you're in a twin flame dynamic, usually from the start, it's always about your soul being healed. There's some energy about karmic history. There's some, maybe if you're sensitive enough to it, maybe that person or you might have a remembrance of a past life. Things like that can happen. But what you have to just pay attention to is the love that you feel. Because with a twin flame, you are destined to have unconditional love. And that love needs to be a true unconditional love where it has no rhyme, has no reason, comes from nowhere, and you pour it out and you give it genuinely. And you don't have to expect it back from that person. You just give it, and you know that whatever it is that you have to offer, it is all that you have to offer, and it's coming from your soul, and you will be authentically you, and you will attract someone who is authentically them, and they will authentically love you as you are, because you are not afraid to be who you are. That is who you deserve to be with. That is whom deserves you. And anybody who tries to tell you differently or put stipulations on your love or tries to make you feel guilty or ashamed of the love that you have for them or the love that they have for you, or they try to just kind of make you, mold you into a person that you're not, in order for them to show you love or in order for them to reward you with their love, things like that. These are red flags that this is not the person that you should be with. The person that you should be with for the rest of your life, and the person who is a person that has the capacity to love you through and through, would be someone that is your divine counterpart, your divine mate. And that person, if you tap into the all of yourself and you start to love that, you'll activate that within that person, and eventually you'll find each other. And when you do, you'll work it out to the point where you'll perfect yourself in knowing that you are already perfect, and you guys will love each other perfectly, regardless of whatever character flaws other people try to characterize you as, because you'll see yourself as perfect, and you'll see your divine mate as perfect in themselves, no matter what stage they're in their lives, and no matter how they choose to change. This is how you know whether or not you are in a twin flame relationship, or if you're in a relationship that is full of narcissism. Now, it could be narcissism from your end or from the end of the person that you're inquiring about, but you have to take a real deep inventory and to see the reasons why your relationship is the way that it is. Really take accountability for where you are in the relationship and see where you'd like to be, and start to really observe really happy relationships and realize why you're not in that happy relationship, and what about you that causes these dynamics to not flourish in those relationships that you're having. And it's really and truly because you are here to learn lessons. You've had soul ties with people that you've maybe had sex with, people that you had relations with, people that you created bonds with, and these people, they taught you something, and you have to learn how to cut those cords. You have to say goodbye to the past, and you can't live in it. You have to live in the now moment so that the now love that you desire can make its way into your now moment, because you deserve it now, not later. So don't push off anything until tomorrow. See what you deserve now, know what you deserve now, and whatever it is that is you're encountering, it's for a reason. If you're in a dynamic of a relationship that is not to your highest good, if you cannot see yourself being with this person beyond several years, if you can't see an eternity with them because the love that you have isn't overflowing, then you need to get out of that relationship, because relationships should be about passionate, burning desire, love that's unending, that comes from the cosmos, not something that comes from just independent thoughts, things that you create with your mind, things that you create out of logic, and you say, well, this makes sense, this person makes sense, we make sense together, so we should be together. That is not how this works. And to be to be the best that you can be, or to have the optimal happiness that you like to have in regards to a relationship, it's always best to just follow your heart, and your heart never uses logic in its choices. It never really does, because it has its own logic, and it works off of the universal consciousness, which generally we can't make out anyways. So I just think it's best to just kind of go with the flow. Trust your heart and know for sure who you are, and that will be enough to guide you to the true mate that you deserve to have. Another way you can do this is by checking the natal charts. I do have the option where you can do a twin flame comparison natal chart reading. I do a thorough analysis of your natal chart, karma history as well, and we can see the comparisons if you have that person's place of birth, the time of birth, their full name, and their date of birth. These things like that we'll be able to kind of pinpoint and see for a definite fact, because the celestial bodies, they show who's who, and your soul knows who is its counterpart. You just can't have any fear in facing everything that comes with this, because this is not just about having a relationship that works. This is about having your soul in full alignment with your soul, with source, and being in your divine self. And that is something to look forward to more than just the relationship. The relationship is an added bonus, like I've always said. But be on the lookout for your union to come. If you want it to come, you have to see it happening. You have to imagine it, and you have to feel it. So feel the vibration. Know that you deserve the love that you want to have now, and feel it now. Express it now so that you can vibrate it and that it can make its way to you. And that's really all that I have for you tonight. So you take care. Thank you so much for tuning in. Namaste.